How's everybody doing? My name's Shane. I go by Repzilla on YouTube, and this video is a lot a bit different, and it speaks about some things that I should have told the full truth about from the beginning, and during the time, I felt like I couldn't. This is about things that have went on since the start of my YouTube career, where I started in 2017 and have been going on and are ongoing. I've been stalked, harassed, manipulated, and some of these situations did involve the police, to which they told me there's absolutely nothing that could be done, and I was kind of like turned away on that aspect, as far as nothing could be done unless it was physical, because this was internet stuff that was happening. So when a lot of these things, which came out all around the same time, happened, I did the best I could at that time with what I knew. And then when I moved and felt like I was in a safer situation, I felt like it was time for me to come out with my side of things. But the situations had moved on, and I felt, why stir it back up? And so I went back to making videos and moved on from it. But these situations are brought up every other year or so, and most recently, so I decided it was time for me to say something. I most likely could have not. I could have just ignored it and kept making videos like I always have, and then people would just move on from it. But it makes me feel better to come out with my side. This is my side of some things that you've never heard before, and a lot of you guys probably aren't going to know what I'm talking about, but a lot of you are. Some of you will believe it as it is. Others will say it's not true at all, and some of you will be somewhere in between. So I don't claim to be perfect, but I do claim the following to be true. On May 1st, 2018, I did a live stream that's set to private. I talked about a few topics while I dyed my hair. I discussed a public YouTube comment from a girl who was harassing me. More about this soon. On May 31st of 2018, I made a video talking about situations where I was being harassed online. At the time, I did not know how serious the situations would get, and I did not name the people involved. One was a girl who goes by the name Maeve publicly, who I rejected the advances of, and the other was a small creator named Marcy, who copied my material and doxed me on multiple occasions. We will talk more about him later in the video. I had a brief communication with this person, Maeve, that started 4/21/18 and ended 4/29/18. We talked again on 4/30/18, where I attempted to reject them without hurting their feelings, but the conversation turned. They started insulting me and saying uncomfortable things, and I blocked them. Keep in mind, this was a total of 9 days I spoke to this person. I never disclosed my real name, my address. I never gave them any identifying information because I did not know or trust this person. The person did not respect that I told them no and to leave me alone. They harassed me for years, and I had to get the police involved. More about that later. On July 16, 2020, Marcy interviewed this person. The description reads, in 2018, Repzilla made a video about his first stalker and doxed them in the process. I got in contact with the person he claims stalked him and asked her about the situation. Repzilla also went on to make Speaking of My Stalker, which was about her and also myself. He claims that I doxed them, but he's referring to that public YouTube comment. This is not doxing. It's a public YouTube comment under my video from a person whom I was having to block from every social media platform I have. It's also important to note they contacted me and my loved ones from multiple alt accounts. At the time of this recording, I've written down 9 different name combinations with 6 different first names and 5 different last names, so it's likely they do not use the real name. I'm still going to be censoring last names because one of them might be real and I don't want to give them anything else to try to use against me. On September 15, 2021, I released a statement on Twitter that reads, I want to be clear. I was internet stalked in 2018. It was horrible, and the law was involved. The same person has said they were my girlfriend, and we e-dated. They said I gave him my address in Tennessee, where I lived in a trailer park, and told them to come visit. This person is sick and needs help. I have never lived in a trailer park in Tennessee. This is not the state I live in. I have never e-dated anyone, and have only dated 4 people in my life. I have never given anyone my address, nor has my address been listed online willingly. I've been trying my best not to give these people any attention. In my May 31st video, I spoke about some of the things that were going on. And it got so severe that I actually had to talk to the authorities about it, because the girl was reaching out to my friends and my family. and taking pictures of me on my live streams, and it was getting pretty creepy. About a month ago, I wrote a community post on my YouTube channel providing more details, saying, additionally, this person admitted to finding out what my place looks like by watching my live streams. But keywords are, it was a house and not in Tennessee. This person admits to taking screenshots of me in my live streams outside my house and sending them to me, which were from alt accounts. This person said that they Google mapped my address and it was a trailer park in Tennessee.
We spoke on Instagram about the whole taking the photo out in the front of his house and the photo while he was live streaming and stuff, and I thought that was kind of interesting.
I don't remember actually taking photos of him outside of his house.
Yeah.
I think I may have taken a screenshot of his street to show him that I know where he lives.
Yeah.
But because I figured out his address because he was live streaming the gym that he went to, he was live streaming the Walmart that he went to. Yeah. He showed me he gave me a whole tour of his house.
Yeah.
So I knew where he lived. It shouldn't be a surprise to him.
I made a Twitter thread about this situation March 19, 2019, where I said they started sending me screenshots of me outside my house while live streaming, not taking and sending physical pictures of me outside of my house. Also, this person just said they got my address from my public live stream, while previously they said I gave it to them willingly.
Well, he wanted me to come to Tennessee, and so I asked him questions about his life, like what happened to him after the injury that he went through.
Yeah.
Family, where does he live? He told me where he lived.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to know where he lives, because if I was going to visit him, I wanted to make sure that it was safe.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess also if you can kind of familiarize yourself with what the surroundings would be, you would feel more comfortable than just feeling like you were going into the middle of nowhere.
Right. That's why you have to Google somebody's address before you visit, so you can figure out like how to get around there.
Keep in mind this person is saying that my public live streams, they have audiences of sometimes 1,000 people, was me specifically showing them things as if they were the only one watching.
The whole stalking thing was like a sob story.
He completely made it up because I figured out that he lived in a trailer park, and he didn't want that information to be shared with the public.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but that it's not. He wasn't very happy about everybody hearing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, until you told me that, I had no idea. I'd seen live streams of him like outside his house and stuff, but it always just kind of seemed like a normal house.
In his porch, like he only ever films right in front of the door, so you think it's a house. But if you step back and you Google it, because one time he was doing some private videos on Facebook, like in a messenger video he went to the gym.
Yeah.
He drove over to the gym, and he was showing me that he was working out. He drove over to which that's where his girlfriend Cinnamon works at.
Yeah.
And then he drove back home, and he videoed his whole place for me.
Oh, okay.
So I seen his whole house.
These are 360-degree screenshots of my previous address. It's a suburban subdivision at the end of a cul-de-sac. This is a city trash can, as it was located in the city and in Georgia. Here's a screenshot from around that time outside my house during a live stream. I was likely on my way to the gym, Waffle House, or Walmart. They have also admitted to having conversations with my girlfriend at the time. I was not in any relationship at this time, but they referred to someone I would eventually be in a relationship with. They said my girlfriend reached out to them and was mean to them. This is categorically false.
Final straw for you was the live stream?
Was afterwards Cinnamon reached out to me to tell me like that they were in a relationship, and I don't know, she was really mad at me. I can't remember, but she was the one who reached out to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be involved in that drama. I was, I was so busy, and then I got text messages from random people, and I just couldn't take it.
Yeah.
This person messaged my girlfriend on Facebook from an anonymous account and called her a slut and that she was too smart for us. Several members of my family were messaged as well. I had not told anyone that I was internet stalked at this time, but as it progressed, I had to tell them so they could block suspicious accounts for safety as pictures of my family started popping up on the internet. This is the only conversation that Cinnamon had with this person, Maeve, through an alt account named Maggie Lee. We did not know if this was Maeve for sure or not until I told Cinnamon it could be. She asked if this person was Maeve, to which they responded with, "Who is Maeve?" spelling it correctly where Cinnamon spelled it wrong. Verified again when she admitted to having a conversation with Cinnamon in Marcy's video. Here's some additional messages. This one shares a name from the account I blocked on Twitter, as well as a LinkedIn account with their picture. 2 Facebook accounts as well. I did live in Tennessee in 2016 to be closer to my job. I lived in a 3rd-floor apartment in the city. I was not making commentary YouTube videos at this time, and I didn't have a following. I was hit by a car at the end of 2016 and was hospitalized and in rehabilitation for the first part of 2017, forcing me to move back to my home state. Keep in mind this person, Maeve, reached out to me 4/21/18. I did have a YouTube channel in the past where I had a couple of uploads of myself playing Call of Duty. I forgot the password to that. I also played video games before I made commentary videos on this channel. I was terrible and had no direction or following. Feel free to make fun of my old videos, that's why they're there. I did want to tell you about this because I didn't start uploading consistently until after I returned home from the hospital around March 2017. I was still new on YouTube at this time and I didn't know the danger that came with putting yourself online. My personal accounts were not private and I didn't care to private them because I didn't think anything like this would ever happen to me. So I thought it was okay to add people. Of the people I ended up having to block, one was this person named Maeve and the other was a small creator named Marcy who would later interview Maeve. As previously stated, conversations between me and this person, Maeve, started 4/21/18, and I had been living in Georgia for over a year. 2 days later, on 4/23/18, they asked me for relationship advice, and then if we could be intimate. This was the first red flag. I didn't see this as rational because we didn't know each other at all. They had previously told me how lonely they were, and I didn't want to hurt this person, so I told them that we should talk more and get to know each other. My intention was to be their friend, to get to know them and lend them an ear to listen. In Marcy's video, this person took my words as their own.
He asked me to go to Tennessee to visit him, and I told him that would take a while, so just to get to know me first. We spoke for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Everything was good.
Yep. So it moved kind of quick, did it?
Fairly quick, just like 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Again, I never disclosed my real name to this person, I never disclosed my address, and I never asked this person to fly out, and we only had an 8-day conversation before I blocked them. They randomly propositioned if they made time for me, what would I want to accomplish? I jokingly said world domination. There was no way I was giving my identifying information to this person, who I did not know. They asked me if they could FaceTime call me on 4/29/18, to which I really didn't want to as they were making me uncomfortable. I attempted to ignore them, but finally accepted. I made it very clear during this call that I only wanted to be their friend. During this call, it became very obvious that this person was not mentally well. I wasn't in a relationship with anyone at this time, but I lied as an excuse and said I started talking to someone. This is what followed. She insinuated I wasn't a man because I told her that I only wanted to be her friend and that I was interested in another girl. She asked me if I liked girls that lived in trailers, to which I said it doesn't matter where a person lives, how much money they make, or what they look like. The only thing that matters is how someone treats you. I told her that she was acting completely disrespectful, to which she said, "Well, you're not interested in me." And then I said, "No, and by how you're acting, I never would be." She claims that I used her to boost my own ego despite our conversation only lasting 8 days. And despite not judging her and giving her a chance, her advances were uncomfortable, so I had to shut them down. And then she says, "And now you say you're not interested. Now you want me back because I backed out. You're just a control freak." It's strange for her to say this because I'm actively rejecting her. I say, "I'm not interested because another girl I respect showed interest, so I told you before it got any further. I don't want you at all, not even a little bit. I don't for sure want you to do anything. What are you even talking about?" To which she says I should have earned her respect, and then she insults me. And then I say, "Okay, I think that's about enough for me. I'm saying goodbye to you right here." She tells me she's a good girl, to which I say, I've only talked to you just twice on FaceTime, rarely in text. I don't doubt you're good, but you need to work on a few things. She asks me what, so I say, well, first off, don't judge people, and if you get rejected, don't take it so hard. Because you sound borderline crazy right now. It doesn't matter if someone rejects you. You should be happy with you. To which they say, you didn't reject me, and then they say, I knew you were playing when I saw the girl in your sweater. Which is creepy to me because I only talked to this girl for 8 days, and this shows me she was actively looking at my social media. She continues, please don't use terms you're ignorant to and don't understand on a level of psychology, to which I said bye, and yes, you got rejected. And then I blocked her and never willingly spoke to her again. This person says in Marcy's interview that I didn't like that they broke up with me. As you can see, this person is sick, and at this time I had not dated Cinnamon or talked about her publicly on my channel. We wouldn't date for another several months.
Well, he didn't like it when I told him that I wanted to end things if he was going back with Cinnamon.
Yeah.
And his ego became broken, and he got very mad. And that's why he made the video about me. Because I told him, like, I have a life, I have work, I have, I have everything here. I'm not just going to pack up if you're going to go back to your, like, I wasn't planning to move.
Yeah.
I was just planning to visit him and get to know him. And since he was playing this game, he couldn't handle it when I broke up with him.
Yeah.
And then he told everybody that he was the one who broke up with me.
She also talks about me having to make a police report. I never said that she came to my house. As previously stated, I said that I was being internet stalked.
He had mentioned to his followers that he wrote a police report about me.
Yeah.
Saying that I was at his house, I was stalking him, I was harassing him.
Yeah.
And, sorry, I was scratching my head.
No, you're fine.
And he, basically, made up lies that I was at his house, and I don't think that that's possible because I live in Toronto.
Yeah.
And he lives in Tennessee, and it makes no sense that I would pack up my stuff and leave work from Monday to Friday. I work Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And I just leave work and I'd pack up and I'd just randomly go to his house in Tennessee. I thought that was funny.
I filed a police report on 8/27/18 and another time on 3/19/19 where I had the police patrol my house. This report shows I was receiving threatening messages at this time. I was ultimately told that nothing could be done unless something physical happened. The second report shows what they were responding to and the times that they patrolled my home. On March 19/19, I spoke of this situation in a tweet, and her response to the multiple accounts that I had to block, she just didn't recall.
Also, he would tell everybody that I made up a bunch of random profiles and I was reaching out to him under fake names. I don't recall that.
Yeah.
He did reach out to me after like the whole video, and he said he would call me names and trash talk me in like slang.
I never reached out to this person after I blocked them from my personal Facebook. I did not call them derogatory names. They were doing that towards me. At 3:04 a.m. May 2nd, 2018, I quote tweeted something very bad that she said, saying, I don't want to ask for an apology. You didn't offend me. You freaked me out. I blocked you because I don't know you and I want you to leave me alone. Every single place I block you from, you find a new place to track me down. Leave me alone, chick. People reacting to what she was saying. At 3:06 a.m. May 2nd, 2018. I was quote tweeting something she said talking down to people. I said, this is closed-minded girl. You also talk down on people that live in trailers and for whatever reason kept talking about how much money you made like I cared. Know that you will be blocked from here after the rep squad teaches you manners. Again, people reacting to what she said. I wish I had what they wrote, but I didn't save it and it wasn't on the Wayback Machine. When Marcy made his video July 2020, I chose to ignore it. I thought it was very obvious. I know making videos giving attention to these people only enables them, as it's what they want, but I do have a right to respond to these things, and there is a lot more. And again, the receipts for everything will be in the Google Drive in the description below. 4/6/17/12:21 a.m. Marcy introduced himself on my private Facebook page. Note his name is Jack-O-Lantern. This is relevant later. He does go by the name Jack publicly, and the name Jack-o'-lantern is used by hundreds of people, so this is not identifying information. He also went by the name Jack Jack, and this is also used by hundreds of people and not his real name as verified by himself. On April 28, 2019, he says that I doxed his Facebook by not blocking out his last name. Again on April 28, 2019, he admits his name on Facebook was not his real name, saying that if someone were to search his name and looked for his picture, it was identifiable. In a March 10, 2020 and March 11, 2020 tweet, he claims that I copied him and doxed him by definition. As previously shown, this is not true, and he goes on to say he did the exact same thing to me. He is correct. We both showed each other's Facebook profile pictures and false names. Neither one of us in this situation doxed the other. So why are we saying that we doxed each other? It's very simple. I lied to him and about the way he doxed me. On 5/7/17, Marcy randomly told me he was defending me in a Poppy Discord server under an alt account. He sent me screenshots of them being racist and talking about having my dox. It was a red flag to me because my private information was already being spread, including pictures of my family. I had already suspected him at that time, but wouldn't have any evidence until about 1 year later. I blocked him from my personal Facebook account on 5/28/18 after he manipulated me. Right before Marcy manipulated me, lying so he could use my pictures and private messages for videos, I'll explain this soon, Marcy had been copying my work, using my help behind the scenes, and harassing other creators. May 28, 2018, Marcy released a video titled, "Speaking of Repzilla." The description reads, "Repzilla and I have been what I would call friends for a while now. This video was a last resort. Over the past 10 months, I felt Repzilla has copied some of my videos, which I show in this video. I have mentioned this on multiple occasions to Repzilla and felt ignored. This is one of the most important videos I have ever made, or will ever make." At the end of this video, he lists videos that he says I copied. He adds up the amount of views my videos got as views that were taken from him. To be clear, just because one person receives an amount of views on a particular video does not guarantee that another would receive that same amount of views. That aside, I'm going to show you that I did not copy him, but he copied me. I never used any of his content, but he used mine, and that I tried to help him. On 4/17/18, I told Marcy that a creator named Mars Argo had returned, letting him know about a lawsuit I was about to cover. This accounts for these videos he claimed I took from him in some way, but I'll explain. He asked me if he should cover it, to which I said yes. Then he asked me what I was going to be covering, and I told him what ideas I would be working on all week. He told me he was going to cover how a creator named Poppy wasn't innocent, which was strange to me. Keep in mind that was on 4/18/18. The day previous, I had already planned making this video. Also keep in mind he had no knowledge of its existence until I told him. I didn't think much of it as it was a big lawsuit and many people were covering it. However, previous to this, he wanted me to credit him in a video that didn't use his content specifically. I happened across a Reddit post that was his. He had shared a 4-minute video where he gave his opinion on a screenshot in a 40-second clip. In my video, I Google searched Poppy canceled and that Reddit post popped up. I read comments of people on Reddit for about 30 to 40 seconds while shouting out the person who created the said post on screen. This is not copying him or using part of his content. His video and mine even spoke on different points. On 4/19/18, he insinuated I copied him again. As previously shown, I had planned my video before he ever knew about it. He actually published his video a day before mine on April 18, 2018. Keep in mind he already knew what I was going to make, and that my videos take longer to make than his. Mine was released on April 19, 2018. He took words from my title and added it to his. We know this because when he accused me of copying on the day of my video release, he had not yet changed his title. The next day he asked me to reference him even though I had not used any of his content in my video. About a month later he brings up the Reddit post again, wanting me to reference him. I explain how long it takes me to make a video, and he tells me it only takes him 15 minutes. To which I explain he doesn't do as much editing as me. At this point I was aware of what he was doing, but I didn't mind and I didn't want to cause trouble. I would make a video and he would make a video putting it out before me or on the same day and change the title accordingly. Sometimes he'd just tell me he was copying my title. This is important because later I show how he was telling other people I was stealing his titles, specifically this one. He would also ask me to cover topics. I wanted to encourage him, so I'd hype him up and agree. In this series, I actually did my video first, and he still accused me of copying even though he asked me to cover it, and as you've seen, we did not coordinate in any way what we would cover. Here he accused me of copying a video that he hadn't published or told me about. I don't know if he forgot or if there's something else going on. Again, he knew what I was making. This dynamic and shady accusations was frustrating, and on 1/18/18, he attempts to control what I make so people wouldn't accuse him of ripping me off. Again, he tells me to cover a topic. I tell him what I'm making. He puts out videos before or around the same time as me and then accuses me of copying, and likely was telling people behind the scenes I was copying him. On another occasion, I used to do surveys so people would suggest topics for me to cover. On 5/11/17, it was suggested for me to look into Mars Argo on the Wayback Machine. Apparently, Marcy had made a similar video on 6/21/17, and mine was released on 6/28/17, to which he again asked me for credit because we made similar videos. Now it's likely I talked to him about making this video, or maybe he was suggested the topic just as I. October 29, 2018, he asked me to cover a topic. I looked into it and decided to cover. I did not use his video, but still linked to his channel because I assumed he was setting me up in some type of way. He attempted to get another reference on November 2nd, 2018 by getting me to use his statement about sexual assault victims' statements so he could get a reference. I said no, I'd rather use direct statements from those involved. 5/2/17, he sent me a topic to cover, and of course he wanted a shout out. Around 4/19/18, he admits to copying me, and my sentiment is you can copy me, I don't care, because I already knew he was doing it. On one occasion, he sent me info that I already had, and I quickly explained so he wouldn't accuse me of copying him or not referencing him because I'd become so used to it. I would cover topics and he would cover the same ones. Again, not saying I took issue with him covering the same things as me. He would attempt to copy the way I tweeted my videos out. Keep in mind, he was blocked. He would attempt to copy the way I would make my thumbnails. To be clear, I never cared that Marcy was copying me. I was cool with it and always told him the bigger I got, I'd make sure he did too. What I care about is that he said I was maliciously copying him. I care about how he manipulated me and other people. I care about how he maliciously took my private information and put it into his videos. I'll talk more about that soon. In order to get permission to use my pictures and Facebook messages, he manipulated me, lying about why he needed them. 4/16/18, he was again attempting to give me topics to cover, and at random asked for a photo for a thumbnail, so I sent some. He told me the video was about what it's like to collab with me. Promised it was nothing bad, which is weird of him to say. It's like he knew he wasn't being honest. Then for some reason says that he read I dress gay on purpose. I think this was an attempt at a backhanded insult. I asked him to link where he read this, and he never did. He actually used the photos I sent in videos claiming I was maliciously copying his work, and used a photo of his own for the collab video. Before he published that video, he asked to use my Facebook messages. Under the impression this was about our collaboration, I agreed. I was upset when I found out he manipulated me, and at this point he'd broken my trust and given me a reason to believe he was the person behind the leaking of my private information. So I blocked him from my private Facebook account. Around this same time, I was also going through a stalking situation and had been under the impression that it was them leaking my information. I had been giving Marcy the benefit of a doubt. I was angry and threatened to strike his video down. This too was a lie. I never did, and also had no idea how much of an issue false strikes were in the community, as I was still a fairly new creator. If I'd known, I wouldn't have threatened that. I did fill out one but quit because I had no idea how to finish it. They asked me for more info, and I never followed through. However, one of his videos was removed, and it was not by me, even though I lied and took credit for it. I wanted to intimidate him from making videos about me because he was maliciously doxing me. At one point, he had his entire channel removed for sending multiple flag reviews. I had asked him if I sent privacy strikes, to which he said yes. Interestingly enough, his videos were going down, and he was telling people it was me. July 6, 2019, he can be seen accusing me of false copyrights, flags, and threatening to sue him. I did threaten legal action for obvious reasons, but had no idea how to go about this as he is in another country. I just wanted him to leave me alone. February 15, 2019, he claimed Poppy was false claiming his videos. October 11th of 2019, he claimed Mars Argo flagged his videos through Content ID. This could be true, as he ultimately did have his channel removed at one point. This is my full reporting history, and as you can see, I've only ever flagged 16 videos. It was in my early years on YouTube, and they have to do with the narrative that Marcy created. And none of those videos were removed. The only 3 that have been removed are to do with Playmate Tessie over animal abuse. And the ones where it says it's not available means the person likely removed said video themselves. I did not want attention to Marcy's videos. I did not want for people to have my private information. As you know, I was going through a lot, and the police were involved. March 1st, 2019, I received a DM. Someone sends me a link of what they believe to be Marcy spreading around pictures of my family. March 19, 2019, I received another. Hey, I thought you kinda might want to know. Someone kept making threads about you on Locale, in total about 5 times in 2 days, which got deleted again and again. The poster proceeded to whine about it on the issues and complaints thread, which is still up, where the mod team confirmed it was 2 people posting the threads. Most of the screens were from this person's DMs, so that should give you a clue as to who is behind the threads. Again, on March 19, 2019, I confronted Marcy on Twitter. Even on May 28, 2020, a random account told me an alt account named Kel was trying to tell me that my name, address, and phone number was being doxed. We will be talking more about this account soon. It's an account directly involved with Marcy and is dedicated to hating me. It's always very close by when Marcy tweets, and like Marcy, is also blocked. Coincidentally, 3 days before this, Marcy tweets about me being doxed, which is disgusting to me as he is the one doxing me. Keep in mind, Marcy was the only YouTuber at the time who had access to my private Facebook page. August 30th, 2018, Marcy doxed my city and state, digging through my old past accounts before I was a public figure. The video remains up and uncensored. March 9, 2019, Marcy doxed my full legal name. My name is not public. It's never been public. I'm a very private person and my name is none of anyone's business. The video remains up and uncensored. I attempted a privacy claim recently, as I am now exposing all of this, and he blurred my real name and none of the other names, evidence that he knows my real name and maliciously doxed me. March 12th, 2021, he doxes me on Twitter. He apologized and says my full name is public. It's not, and it's never been. It's not Shane Andrews. Again, more attempted doxing. Marcy has made close to 25 to 30 videos on me over the years. Several of those dox my private and personal information. In the video where he interviewed the girl who harassed me, there's this weird moment where they discuss how Googling my address on Google Maps, taking screenshots and posting it publicly is not doxing, but public information.
Let's say hypothetically, or let's say you took a screenshot on Google Street View, Maps, whatever, of his house and sent it to him. That is technically a photo of his house, or out the front of his house. And it's technically, if it's
public.
screenshotted. Sorry?
Yeah, it's public.
Yeah.
It's public information.
Yeah.
And it's public to everybody that he shares it with.
Yeah. A screenshot of someone's house, like, as you said, is public, but like that is technically someone taking a photo of their house. It's just leaving out so many details.
If you Google Map someone's address and take screenshots of it to post online when they haven't listed it publicly, are a private person and do not want that information out there, that is not only very creepy, but also doxing. Marcy is blocked from my Twitter, but there is evidence that he searches my name daily. July 4th, 2019, a viewer of mine was saying very kind things about me when he pops up at random to post a video by creator Primic, who featured Marcy. He gets called out for searching my name and he replies that he only wanted to let me know his channel was back. This is strange because I have him blocked and I do not care. That random alt account Kale pops up. They are always very close by to stand up for Marcy. He goes into more details about his involvement with the Primic video. He says I attempted to sort things out. Keep in mind I often lied to Marcy to protect myself because I did not trust him. Example, March 19, 2019, my docs was being passed around and I told him I was in contact with Locale and they were going to send me the IP of who was posting my docs. I do not know anyone from Locale. March 26, 2019, Marcy is telling other people about this and it looked like alt account Kel posted something Marcy was supposed to respond to, but it's backwards. I'm not sure. This is the docs that Marcy shows in his video. They claim I had something to do with Locale and they are going to post on Kiwi Farms. Keep in mind I lied to Marcy in DMs about Locale. I'm also 100% not a Locale mod. The Locale admin says that whoever was posting my docs was posting personal DMs as a vendetta. The only DMs posted were from Marcy. They said that 2 people kept posting and reposting and that they were also ban evading. The docs was created between 2/10/2019 and 3/3/2019 as the most recent saved snapshot from the Wayback Machine shows and the 21 days previous screenshot. Could have been earlier, but this is all I could find. Keep in mind Marcy had already doxed my personal information both in video and on Twitter, things he could have only figured out from my personal Facebook account. The drive that he self-admittedly helped with and ultimately gave to the creator named Primic was created on 3/13/2019 by a user named Off-Brand Typist. This shows that he was heavily involved in the distribution of information with the sole purpose of a vendetta. July 6, 2019, a viewer of mine asked to be untagged from a thread that Marcy randomly popped up in as they felt the behavior was obsessive and unhealthy. He responds with how he thinks it's unhealthy for someone to run false and slanderous narratives of stalking, threatening false strikes, and doxing his Facebook, all of which is already proven false. December 4th, 2020, he again pops up at random. Before leaving, he lets this stranger know I falsely accused him. On another occasion, he randomly pops up and brags about being in Priming's video and about his participation in the Google Drive. July 19, 2021, pops up randomly for another brag. Keep in mind I have him blocked, so he is searching my name regularly so he can involve himself and get attention. I'm not the only person that went through this type of thing with Marcy, or the only person he accused of copying, but I am Marcy's main source of attention. When I stopped giving it to him willingly, he found other ways to take it. More about this later. 5/9/18. Marcy has a strange obsessiveness with views and the topics that he covers. Here he's accusing Edwin of Edwin's generation and a smaller creator named Daily Joy of copying and not giving him credit. He says there's people who have been like, oh, this is new, I can get views off this, and proceed to linking Daily Joy's channel. Going on to say she's happy because she's getting views using an unoriginal theory and legit putting out compilation videos of Poppy and Mars, claiming them as her own, including re-uploading the Philly D part where he spoke about Titanic in the Fearless Radio interview. No referencing. Keep in mind, Marcy is talking about things that he himself is doing. He's searching for and finding clips, putting them into his video, coming up with theories and speaking on them. And then says Edwin is copying me and getting 300,000 views. Sure, our channels are more popular than ever, but it seems almost immoral. I try to de-escalate and give him advice. Keep in mind, Marcy says he feels like Daily Joy and other creators who cover the same topic as him is immoral. This is important for later.
Something I forgot to mention earlier, which was around the whole Mars Argo lawsuit thing. I may have mentioned this in a video before, but I was a bit kind of worried because this channel just came out of nowhere. It had like 100,000 subs and just made a video about it. And like myself and Rep had been making videos about the whole Mars Argo and Poppy thing. He'd been making them longer, like maybe 6 months longer, whatever. And it was kind of like what the community had been waiting for. And so, of course, myself and Rep, I mean, that was what we were waiting for. It was personally my big break. But then, yeah, this bigger channel, Edwin's Generation, just comes along and makes videos about the lawsuit, and so does Petty Page. I'm like, I was a bit annoyed. I'm like, well, they're just getting all these views of this thing that they've never made any other videos about, rah, 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 rah.
Another creator at that time by the name Irrelevant News created a Google Doc documenting Marcy's obsessive behavior. They document how Marcy was copying me and her. I was unaware that she was making this drive at the time. It also talks about how he harassed another creator named Daily Joy, asking for video credit for things he did not own, calling them unoriginal and pushing boundaries after they told him they have a boyfriend.
Marcy was basically asking for credit because I used a little clip that he had also used on his channel. Like I said, it was the first time I had ever made a video like that. So, and I was super new to YouTube. I still am really new to YouTube. I've only been on YouTube for like 6 months or something. So when Marcy asked for credit for the video, and it's still there, I gave him credit in the description. It was the part where Titanic Sinclair has a Mars Argo logo on his guitar. I didn't know if Marcy owned that footage or not, which is why I agreed to give him credit. Plus, I didn't want to like create a whole situation out of something that was unnecessary, you know? So I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Then this is where I'm going to read the DMs now that I have from him. So he said, I said, how would you like me to credit you? And he said, this is on Instagram, by the way. He said, first line of the description, something like Poppy concert reference, insert video link, if that's okay. And I said, yes, of course. And then I said, I'm sorry, I don't know if that's the standard. I'm new to YouTube. And he said, thank you. Sorry, I'm just a bit on edge because Repzilla likes stealing my video topics and partial footage without crediting me. So I said, does Repzilla respond when you ask him for credit? And Marcy said, we talk most days. We're good friends. He just doesn't care. And I said, oh, okay, he seems really nice. And then he said, he just likes taking credit for everything. So I said, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that because I just didn't want to get involved, you know? I was like, okay, like, I gave you the credit that you asked for. Like, it's done, you know? So I said, okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. He said, if he does it again, I'm claiming copyright. There's probably 6 at the moment. So here you go. You can see. I hope you guys can read it. But yeah, so sorry if it was blurry, but he said, if he does it again, I'm claiming copyright. There's probably 6 at the moment that are uncredited. So then I told him, like, if he's your friend, you shouldn't do that because that could really hurt him. And he said, actions speak louder than words. So I was just like, this is what I said. I said, that's true. But at the same time, maybe he doesn't know how serious you are about it. I would give him a chance to know your true feelings before you do something that could hurt him or hurt his channel. Then he says, it's clear enough to read? Okay, good. He said, if I claim copyright, I'll be taking the revenue, and unless he addresses it public, it will be between me and him. So then, again, super new to YouTube. I don't know a whole lot about the like creating aspect of it. So I said, would he be protected under fair use? Sorry, like I said, I don't know much of how YouTube works. And he said, doesn't matter if he is. If he blatantly steals a video idea without credit, then it's different. How can you tell it was taken from me without a reference? So at that point, I was just like, okay, he clearly isn't willing to hear somebody else's perspective, you know?
She calls him out about how I'm not using any of his content. Keep in mind, I'm not aware that this is going on.
I tried to explain to him that he doesn't need to credit him, you know? And all he said was, that's not what it's about. So then I just tried to explain myself even more, and he just wasn't getting it. So I just stopped trying because it was clear that he doesn't want to understand. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking at my phone to just kind of like skim through the DMs, you know? Anyway, so I tried to explain to him that Repzilla doesn't need to give him credit. Just because they're making a video on the same topic doesn't mean that he deserves credit because he, let's just say, made a video about it first. Even if he hadn't, it doesn't make sense. And then another thing that Marcy says in his video is he points out several videos where they posted it on the same day or the next day or whatever. Marcy says, Marcy says in his video that it takes Rep about 8 to 12 hours to edit just a video, you know, never mind the filming time and, you know, uploading it, you know, just 8 to 12 hours just for editing alone. Then Marcy goes on to say that they posted a video about the same thing 5 hours apart. And he says, if I want to be nitpicky, I uploaded mine first. First of all, if you want to be nitpicky, if you think that's nitpicking, why would you even say that? And second of all, you just said that it takes him 8 to 12 hours to edit. If he uploaded it 5 hours later, how could he have seen your video? You know, like that the timeline just doesn't make any sense.
Marcy goes on to show her examples of videos and titles he claims I stole. Remember earlier I showed you these specific examples he's giving where he copied my titles, even self-admitting it.
Then Marcy sends me videos where he feels like they are examples of Repzilla stealing his content. So the video he sent me, it says Poppy is guilty. And then he sent me Repzilla's video that says Poppy is not innocent, proof. Mars Argo lawsuit update, Titanic Sinclair stole ideas from Britney. So then I said to him, yeah, but there's a few other channels with the same title just because everyone's talking about the same subject, you know? And he said, with proof in the title and all? And I said, I'm not sure, I didn't look very hard. And he said, there's more than one way to approach the same topic. And I said, yeah, I get that. So is your issue with him specifically or with anyone who makes poppy videos? And he said, him. I feel like he's abusing his power. And all I said was, oh, okay. Because I didn't know what to say right there. I feel like he's abusing his power. Because I'm not lying, okay? I have no reason to lie.
She is also correct that many other people were covering this highly public lawsuit. Multiple people, similar titles. Other than him accusing Edwin and other small creators of copying, he seems to only care about me. I think it's because I attempted to not give up on him and remained in contact for longer than I should have. The girls finally decided to tell me what he was doing to them. Daly and I talked for a bit before we finally decided to tell Repzilla. Daly and Rep both decided at this time that Marcy wasn't worth the drama. Daly blocked him and Rep continued to be nice to him. I saw quite a few instances of him being rude and critical to other creators. A few of these creators have asked not to be mentioned, which I respect. At this point, I made a mistake. I should have cut contact and called him out. Instead, I sent him a DM and gave him the opportunity to fix things. Marcy did not stop. Went on to cross Daily Joey's boundaries.
Marcy sends me a DM out of nowhere after that whole thing of him asking me for credit for something he did not deserve credit for, but I still gave him anyway, and he still has it. I did not remove it. After he asks me for credit, goes on a whole rampage of talking shit about Repzilla. Out of nowhere, he messages me and says, "You're beautiful." Just out of nowhere. And I have a boyfriend, and at the time I was literally on my way to the club with my friends to go see Miss Cracker perform. If you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, fucking DM me, let's talk about it. Anyway, so I was on my way to go see Miss Cracker perform, and I was very excited, and he just, "You're beautiful." And I was like, thanks. Well, I didn't see it until we were on the way to the club. I said, thanks, because like I said before, I made YouTube I started YouTube to make friends. And I thought, even though he was talking all this shit about Repzilla, it made me very uncomfortable. I thought maybe we were friends or something. I don't know. So I just said thanks because I was really uncomfortable and I didn't want to just be like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend, blah, blah, blah." I don't know. So he said, "Sure, you get told that often." So I sarcastically said, "Yeah, LOL." But I guess in text message, you can't tell that it's sarcastic. So he said, "I'm glad others see it too." So then I was like, okay, he's not going to stop. And I just tried to kind of like gear the situation away with like a joke. I don't know, guys. I'm awkward, okay? So I said, "Just in person and in pictures. In videos, I look busted, LOL." And he said, "Nah, you look good." So I'm going to show all of that before I go on because it goes on. It's awkward though. Yeah, it is super awkward. So then he said, "Nah, you look good." And I said, "Thanks, LOL. I do have a boyfriend though." And he said, "I know, doesn't change how you look though." And then at that point, I was at the club and I was like, I'm not dealing with this. So then when we were on the way home, I was like, "Thank you."
After Marcy was rejected, he started being cruel to Daly.
So then after I stopped talking to him, my Poppy referencing Mars Argo video had gotten, I think at that point it had gotten like 200,000 views or something like that. And I was really, really like shook to say the least, I guess. I didn't think that many people would ever watch my video, and I know they only watched because it was Poppy Mars Argo, not because of me. Totally understand, but still, I was like floored that many people saw my video. So pulling up screenshot, give me 1 second. So I just posted about it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that this many people liked my video. Like, I feel so grateful, whatever. So Marcy comments on it and says, next, try it with original content. So I said, is there a problem? And he said, nah, just a thought. So then I said, it's just kind of rude. It's a video that I made that took me several hours to make. It took me a very long time to make that video. Even if you think it's reaching or whatever, I stand by everything that I put in the video, and it took me a really long time to make it. And if you think it's reaching, totally fair. Everyone has the right to their opinion, you know? But it took me a super long time to make the video. And then for someone to just say, try it, next time try it with original content, like, what the fuck? It just really, really pissed me off. But it really, really, really pissed me off. And the reason why I have a screenshot of this is because I deleted the post because it like hurt me that bad. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have deleted it. I shouldn't have let someone make me feel like I can't talk about what I want to talk about on my Instagram. But it really upset me. But I had never said anything rude to him before. So I was like, are you mad that I didn't even know why he would say that. I was like, are you jealous maybe that many people watched my video? Are you upset because you tried to hit on me and I rejected you? Like, I don't know. But after that, I was like, fuck this guy. Like, I'm totally done. And it really upset me that he said that. I was like, how dare you call me unoriginal? We're talking about the same things, you know? In my opinion, he's just trying to make smaller creators feel like they don't have a right to create whatever content they want to create, you know?
Again, all of these sources will be in the drive. I highly suggest that you watch this video. It explains a lot of the situation with screenshots. The end of the Google Drive concludes the actions we took at that time. I spoke to Rep and Daily while making this document, and they both want no hate to come to Marcy's channel. Rep in particular asked me to make it clear that he doesn't want to see Marcy lose his outlet. He just wants to see Marcy use it in a way that serves him better. Marcy did write a Google Drive response to Daily Joy. I wanted to include it because it's evidence of him doubling down on dishonesty. He says that they show no evidence and that it's all heresy. I don't believe Marcy knew I had a copy of this live stream where she shows all screenshots. I'm not sure. He brags about us at one time being friends, as if that absolves him or makes him incapable of doxing me. If I knew all he was doing, I would have stopped talking to him sooner. May 12th, 2018. He blames his behavior on a difficult situation that he was going through at that time. But that isn't what he told me. Keep in mind, just the day before, he told me that he was angry because people were covering the same topic as him without referencing him. We had a whole conversation and he told me something completely different. He told me that he was upset about other creators covering the same topic as him, which is a pattern of behavior he's had for years. I wanted to briefly go over the weird alt account Kel that seems to be associated with Marcy. September 8th, 2019. I called the account out after it had harassed several members of my community. They were called out for being on all of my social media accounts. They claim that they do not watch my live streams and are exposed for lying. Like Marcy, even though they are blocked, they comment on my posts at random. September 13, 2019. They say they have empathy for everyone but me, so I'll call them out on the hypocrisy. They follow 9 people and one is Marcy. They are also from the same location as Marcy. March 24th, 2019. Before I blocked them, they reached out and the exchange was as follows. This account was solely created to harass me. Nearly every tweet going back for years is about me. Even though I have this account blocked, they always randomly tweet at me or show up with Marcy, who is also blocked. Leafy Greens is a smaller creator who I attempted to interview during a situation involving another creator named The Rewired Soul. Many people have said that I was close friends with The Rewired Soul. I barely knew him. We spoke on Twitter randomly for about 3 months. July 28, 2019, he apologized for dragging me into this situation. Listen, man, I want to apologize. I did mess up quite a bit. I blew up and got cocky, and my ego got in the way. I don't like the way the situation was portrayed in your book, but I understand that is how you felt. I just wanted to clarify I pulled my support because you joked about making money off of people. November 25th, 2019. He also apologized for making hateful videos about me. Hey man, I want to reach out and apologize privately. We don't have to be friends, but the way I acted was uncalled for. Seems fine to me. I don't want to be friends and I don't want to associate. He explained our relationship in a video.
And I guess I'll address the Repzilla situation really quick. Repzilla and I, we were almost like colleagues. We just talked, we talked about stories, we gave each other YouTube advice, you know, what was going on in the community. That was about the extent. I've never talked to him on the phone, we've never met in person or anything like that. And if I'm being honest, Repzilla hurt my feelings because when all this stuff happened, Repzilla just turned his back on me and just walked out. He's like, you're on your own, buddy. And that's what it felt like. I felt completely deserted. That again, that's why I empathize with James Charles.
He went into more detail in a book he wrote called Cancelled. Even though we weren't friends, but more colleagues, I had a ton of respect for him. The fact that he turned on me knowing that the mob scared him into doing so made me lose just about all respect for him. July 28th, 2019. I explained to him why I publicly told people I didn't support him. For the record, I didn't pull my support due to an angry mob. I did so because there was some legitimacy behind their anger. He says, you chose to listen to them and think my mistakes made me a bad person, so you were influenced by them. I respond, I didn't listen to anyone. I paved my own way in life. I didn't pay attention to the way you handled your business before. Then, as I said with T&D, you go about it in a way that business-wise is not agreeable with me. There was no angry mob until Primink released a video on me. I pulled my support when other creators took me aside and showed me the things you said and did. It's strange because he says he's mad at me, but I didn't know him. When I found out some of the things that were going on back then, I let people know I didn't support that. It's that simple. I want to say this was in the past. I still don't know the Rewired Soul, but I have no issues with the guy. Marcy and others were saying I was close to the Rewired Soul in some kind of weird way to say I turned on my friends. Marcy's reaction when he found out the Rewired Soul also was saying that we weren't friends, confirming what I had been telling people, shows his dishonesty.
This goes on to say, I was going to write a whole chapter about Repzilla, but I'll leave it at this. Even though we weren't friends, but were more colleagues, I had a ton of respect for him. Now, before I go on, just quick, it's interesting because Rep also said that they weren't friends. Although Rep had worked on a thumbnail and there's kind of like evidence to suggest that they were friends and stuff, Chris also backs this up, so that's interesting.
Making a thumbnail for Chris only took 10 minutes. Literally, if you look at the timestamps, it only took 10 minutes. He asked and I said, sure, that's it. The reason I wanted to clarify my relationship with the Rewired Soul is to show you that I had no bias when I went to interview Leafy Greens. To explain this further, I'm going to show you the conversation between me, Leaf, and the Rewired Soul as I was attempting to understand the situation. March 1st, 2019, I reached out to Chris and said, hey, I'm going to have to make a video addressing. People keep asking me. I will be critical and fair to both sides. I just wanted to let you know. And then asked, what is the podcast that Leafy Greens used? I want to make sure the context isn't obscured. I said, send anything over that you think will help with the video if you get time. He asked, is it just about me and Leaf or everything? I said, specifically, I would really like your thoughts on record for her saying you diagnosed her, how it made you feel. You can write it here and I can pull it. Just say off record, on record for things if that makes sense. Chris goes on record to say, it's a similar situation that I had with Trisha Paytas. I showed clips of Trisha saying that she has BPD because I don't and can't diagnose anyone. My goal with my videos has been, if the viewer can relate to this, I want to help. In my video response to Trisha, I showed the clips where she says she has BPD. About Leaf, he says, during the podcast, I knew Matt, my co-host, was going to ask me about Leafy Greens. So I checked out her content and saw she had a lot of videos about BPD. I watched one and she discussed how she was diagnosed with BPD and she wants to help others with tools that she learned to live with BPD. He said in the podcast, I think she has BPD based on what she said. She took offense to that. I have currently asked her why it upset her, waiting for her to reply. To which I said to Leaf, I saw where you were upset about the Rewired Soul saying he thinks you have BPD. Can you explain this for me on record? I plan to pull this for video, just say on record, off record for things if that makes sense, just like I did with the Rewired Soul. She explained she thought it was disgusting that Chris continued to make videos about Trisha Paytas having BPD after she denied having it, and asked him to stop and explained how hurt she was. And then says that she watched the entire scenario play out again, but this time, she was in Trisha Paytas' place. Chris did the very thing I called him out for in my video. After talking to Leafy Greens, I went back to Chris and said, "Did you continue to make videos about Trisha Paytas after she denied having BPD?" To which he says, "I made some defending her during the David Dobrik situation, but nothing about her having BPD. I also made one saying I'm done with their crap." To which I said, Leafy Greens said that she's upset because she doesn't agree with the existence of BPD as a formal diagnosis. I told her the reason you said that you thought she had it was because she said it in a video. She was also upset because you kept insisting that Trisha Paytas had BPD, but I informed her of the video where she also says this. How do you feel about that? To which he tells me I don't diagnose anyone. I use that clip of Trisha stating she has BPD in order to help others who can relate. I hope you can use that clip. To which I asked if he could send that clip to me. Leafy says you can easily discover by watching my videos that I have indeed been diagnosed as BPD, but then goes on to say if I say I don't have BPD, then that should be respected. I am the ultimate authority over myself. I'm not a stupid person. To which I explained to her what Chris said. Chris had told me that the reason he said he thought you had BPD is because he heard you say it in a video. He told me that Trisha Paytas also says this in a video. I verified where Trisha Paytas did indeed say this. How do you feel about that? I have other questions about what you're talking about. I won't forget, I have them written down. She goes on to explain more in depth and says that also Chris didn't mention any of this in his podcast. He just said that he thinks I have it because a lot of his audience does. I said, I understand. You don't have any certifications, do you? The reason I ask is because your theories are in-depth and complex. I also asked the same thing to the Rewired Soul. What certifications are you 6 months away from? To which he says, certified alcohol and drug counselor. I even reached out to medical professional Dr. Todd Grande and had a conversation with him about the Rewired Soul and his licenses and certifications. Because Leaf said that Chris was still diagnosing her, I said point blank, are you continuing to tell people that Leaf is BPD? He says no. I then asked him, did she tell you not to talk about her before you did the podcast? To which he says, not that I know of, but I have her blocked because she keeps harassing me. So she might have. I then say to Leaf, I guess what I don't understand is why you're upset if you know you have theories that are against conventional medicine. That is not of the mainstream, meaning that most people are not aware of this, and you get upset with Chris because he doesn't understand that. If you said in a video that you were formally diagnosed with BPD, how is he supposed to know any different? Same for Trisha. I can give you a link to where she said this as well. To which she explains to me in her videos that talk about BPD, she always dismisses the diagnosis in favor of complex PTSD. To which I said to her, my thoughts are if you could make a special video criticizing him, it would be just as easy to do something educational for him. You are the one in disagreement about something that isn't very well known. To which she says, you're saying this as one of his friends, you have bias. I say I have no bias, I'm doing research. You never have to answer anything. That's just a little bit of the back and forth that I had between the Rewired Soul and Leafy Greens. And as you can see, I'm really trying to understand the situation between the two and almost like I'm mediating the situation. This was my first attempt at an interview. I wrote down all the questions I would ask, but I should have done the interview via video, done a pre-interview to get on the same page, and done more research. March 3, 2019. I thought the interview was a fail, but the Rewired Soul said it was great. I didn't understand this. The full interview will be in the Google Drive, minus any private information. Leafy Greens agreed with the initial interview and thanked me for it. When I explained my video was to be neutral, giving criticisms with all sides, Leafy Greens became angry. I wanted to give her the opportunity to decline being in the video, and if she still wanted to be in it, I wanted to make sure what I could and could not speak on. As I asked her questions of what was okay to include, she became angry. I wanted her to know that I wasn't putting her in the video if she didn't agree. She became angrier, told me to show all the DMs. Told me if I didn't, she would screenshot them and do it herself. I didn't understand this as I had told her I wasn't going to put her in the video, but she started releasing our DMs out of context. People were getting really mad at me. I started feeling a lot of pressure, and then she told me again to show it all. So I quickly screen recorded them and released them on Twitter as she asked. I made a mistake and released something that I gave my word would be off record. If you look here at the timestamps, it shows they were only public for around 36 minutes before she made me aware. I immediately apologized on Twitter. I explained it was an accident. March 12, 2019. I apologized again publicly on Twitter. I didn't name her because, as you will see, she asked me to remove everything about her, and another channel had been threatening me. I even attempted to apologize in the comments under her video because I wanted it to be public, but they were telling me not to say her name or they were going to expose me. March 4, 2019. She sent me a list of demands to remedy the situation, of which I'd already completed. March 8, 2019. She made a video with said list of demands to make things right. As I said, I'd already done them. I removed all videos, tweets relating to the situation and stopped saying her name. I found out she had hid the apology I posted on her video. It was still there, but viewers were unable to see it, but it was still live in my comments history. She was actively telling people that I deleted the apology. Keep in mind she had been telling me not to say her name, to remove any mention of her, as well as deleting her own Twitter. Meanwhile, she was doing live streams saying she hated me, I wouldn't apologize, and that I ruined her life. Again, another channel that was associated with her was threatening to expose me with what I believed was my docs. I'll explain why I thought this soon. I felt like I was being silenced as there was no evidence that I apologized or felt remorse. April 3, 2019. I reached out on Instagram in an attempt to get some sort of verification of her receiving at least one of my apologies. This resulted in her accusing me of talking about her behind the scenes, and she emailed me a bag of, well, you can see. Meanwhile, she had my apology saved in a Google Drive. Also in this Google Drive that she created was my docs. I knew about this at the time. This is what I believed the expose was, and another reason that I stayed quiet. Around this time, I was being told that she was sending people to discredit me. She was deleting comments on her YouTube videos that was calling her out for some of the things that she was doing. Evidence suggesting that she was deleting more comments and sending people to dogpile on others. Even joking about the passing of another creator. She was purposely giving out my email, sending people to attack me. Even sending a dox of my full name, city, and state. People kept sending me all of this, but keep in mind, I was being blackmailed to stay quiet. So I started talking to other creators about what to do. March 9, 2019, 10:59 a.m. One of the creators I trusted suggested I get the information that people was sending me to people in the community who would stand up for me. March 14, 2019. This creator let me know another creator named Preming was going to make a video on me. More about that soon. That same day, another creator I trusted asked if they could make a video about this. I declined because at this point I had decided making videos about leafy greens was not the best thing to do at this point. Two smaller creators that had sent the information that others were sending me got upset when I told them I was backing out of anything to do with leafy greens. I never did any research into leafy greens. I only copy and pasted what others sent me within 20 minutes of receiving it. April 25th, 2019. I've been trying to tell other people why I sent her info to other creators. February 2nd, 2019. I made a video with some criticisms about a YouTuber named Preming and his coverage on another YouTuber named The Rewired Soul, whose name is Chris. In Preming's January 31st, 2019 video, YouTube's Pretend Therapist is Concerning, one of his examples of concern was Chris's promotion of an online therapy service called BetterHelp.
While all of YouTube were making videos highlighting BetterHelp and their questionable practices, BetterHelp is a service that lets you talk to therapists online. It got in trouble because it came to light that they didn't have a good system of verifying their therapists. Chris actively promoted and still to this day promotes their services to all of his fans.
At the time, I'd been covering the shady business practices of this company and another creator who was involved named Katie Morton. In Preming's video, he tells his viewers that Katie Morton is a trustworthy alternative to The Rewired Soul.
Life lesson. If you ever even have an inclination that something you're promoting is a scam or bad for your fans, you drop that sponsor instantly. If you guys are looking for a channel that is truly supportive and, in my eyes, a good example of a mental health channel, go check out Katie Morton. She is a certified therapist. That's right, certified.
You can see right here, this video was like 2 weeks ago. This is Katie Morton. Click into it, and in the description, it's she's still actively promoting BetterHelp. He would have known this if he just went to look. Katie Morton didn't just promote BetterHelp, but she was one of the founding creators to bring it to YouTube, as can be seen in this October 11th, 2021 screenshot. Another creator I'm friends with pointed this out and gave criticism as well. Preming doubled down on his Katie Morton stance without going to her channel to check. This surprised me, so I decided to send him a DM. February 1st, 2019, I was only going to send one message, but he said he wasn't going to correct the misinformation. He also insinuated that I might be friends with Chris. I think he thought I was telling him to apologize to Chris when I was actually suggesting he correct the misinformation about Katie Morton. Keep in mind I was not friends with Chris. I had made 2 videos about specific situations with him pertaining to Bobby Burns and Trisha Paytas because I had been covering Bobby Burns and Trisha around that time. No other reason. I did not know anything about the situations involving the Rewired Soul, so when Permink said people were sending him evidence, I asked if I could see it. Permink said he didn't want to out his friends, to which I said if the Rewired Soul was actually doing all these things, I wanted to know. He said he wasn't going to show me because I made 2 videos defending the Rewired Soul. I did not, but given the timing and coverage, I can see why anyone would think that. At this point, I didn't think Permink was telling the truth. I was fully under the impression that Permink was making things up out of spite. February 4th, 2019, when I learned about everything the Rewired Soul had done, I attempted to apologize to Permink. This resulted in him calling me biased, accusing me of being friends with the Rewired Soul, to which I told him, I don't know, Chris, again telling him my criticisms were only about Katie Morton. February 5th, 2019. I told Permink I felt bad that people thought I was biased, but I didn't want to make a video clarifying my points, like I'm doing right now, almost 3 years later. Also keep in mind I was going through a harassment situation and the police were involved. I was also dealing with Marcy and Leafy Greens holding my docs. March 14, 2019. Permink released part 1 of a 2-part series where I would be the focus of the second part. I sent Permink a DM that same day, again saying I was not close to the Rewired Soul and if he had any questions, just to ask. He said he had no questions. I attempted to explain to him everything that I was going through and the seriousness of the situation I was in, again asking him if he needed any clarification, just to let me know. I told him I had every receipt as you've seen throughout this entire video. I was trying to think about anything his video would be about, so I could show him the receipts that you've seen in this video. One situation in specific about a girl who I later found out faked her own passing. I told him he could view the video and see all the receipts if he promised not to use it in his video. I told him I had been in touch with the girl and had promised to take down everything about her. I'll talk more about this soon. He said he was going to use it anyway, and I of course said no. I tried to tell him everything. I told him this conversation between me and him was private and off record, because the things I was saying, specifically the conversations about me and the girl, were things we discussed that she didn't want public. He later released our entire conversation in his video about me. On March 17, 2019, he asked me if I had evidence of Marcy doxing me. As already seen in this video, I did. I told him I did. He asked me to show him proof of my dox, to which I told him I was uncomfortable doing, because he had already been leaking our private conversations on Twitter. He said he was trying to give me a chance to defend myself. I asked if it was for me to defend myself in his video, and he said yes, and that he was fair, and to send him proof. I asked him if he understood the danger that I was in, and I told him I wasn't at liberty to openly talk about it, and that it involved my friends and family. Keep in mind, I'd been in contact with the police about said situation. March 22, 2019. He did not reply to my attempts to clarify and send evidence about these situations, and published his video calling me YouTube's wolf in sheep's clothing. It included a Google Drive that Marcy self-admittedly helped create. He included the livestream part of Leafy Greens saying she hated me and I ruined her life. Keep in mind I was still being silenced from speaking about her. Also keep in mind that I'd only ever interacted with her on 3 separate occasions, most of which was me apologizing. It was broadcasted to over 2.5 million people that I bullied a mentally ill woman, insinuated I was a racist, that I harassed and copied Marcy, and a whole lot more. After Permink's video, Leafy Greens went after him in the same way that she did me. She did multiple live streams calling him a predator and claiming he crossed her boundaries. April 25th, 2019, I had a conversation with Permink about this on Twitter. This is what happened between Permink and Leafy Greens. 3/14/19. Permink interviewed Leafy Greens in the DMs, very similar to the way that I did. 3/17/19. She tells him that some things were private and off record, just as she did me. 3/22/19. She becomes upset with Permink. That same day she sends him a DM on Twitter. She told him that he put her in his video without her consent, and then apparently he blocked her, according to her Google Drive. On November 19, 2019, Leafy Greens made a video where she apologized to everyone involved but me. To my knowledge, I'm the only one that went to the extent that I did to apologize to her. Next, I'm going to give the full context and receipts about a few other things Permink spoke about in his video. Keep in mind, I did attempt to give him these receipts. June 3, 2018. I made a video raising awareness about a girl who took her own life due to tragic circumstances. She was a well-known content creator on Facebook, so the situation was very public at the time. It was suggested to me by my viewers to bring awareness to the situation because not very many people were talking about what happened. It was said the girl was taken advantage of by an older adult at the age of 14 and was bullied online about it to the point of suicide. There was a lawsuit supporting the information about the older adult. There was a suicide note allegedly written by the girl supporting this narrative. There was an obituary commemorating the tragic passing of this young girl. There were people devastated at the news of the girl's passing. I spoke with alleged friends and family about the passing of this girl. The mother was allegedly speaking on the tragic passing of her daughter. There were entire post threads about the tragic circumstances, as well as people feeling emotional about it. After reviewing all of these tragic examples, I decided to make a video raising awareness in hopes that this wouldn't happen to another young girl. This video was not monetized and it was very difficult for me to make, as I have a sister around the same age. Around February 1st, 2019, the girl posted a hit-or-miss meme video to her main social media platform. She also changed her bio. She changed it to a Bible verse that says, "On the third day he rose again," Corinthians 15:1-11. She explained that the reason she did this was not for sinister reasons, that she has mild Asperger's, and that it really was for attention. This really upset people, and they were reaching out wanting me to cover it. I'll explain why I didn't soon. Keep in mind that she said her parents didn't correct anyone about her passing because they don't get involved with internet. Yet, her friends, and at least allegedly the mother, was complicit. Around February 2nd, 2019, someone sent me a conversation that they had with her. She attempts to blame me for starting the rumor. Keep in mind all of the evidence and examples of her passing that existed before I made my video. February 3, 2019, I privated my video so I could figure everything out. I started reaching out to her alleged friends and family who I'd talked to before. February 5th, 2019, her friend explained the truth to me. She sent me a message the other day for the first time in months. Apparently the whole thing was faked. At first I thought it was somebody poking a joke, then I saw her new video. It was disappointing to say the least. She had her family posting obituaries, school friends posting RIP, and family members sharing family photos to her obituary page. I thought it was kind of weird how someone's family would even vouch and post about her being dead. I tried to tell her she should have posted a reasoning and what happened before her video, but she is a child and I don't think she really knows how much it hurts some people who knew her to have her family say she died. She used to live and everybody was devastated there. I replied, what they did was wrong and extremely hurtful. She had a friend she knew in person who she had post about her death and say RIP. She posted tons of photos with her. She also has another friend who she's met in person on Facebook. I forgot his name, but he posted about her being dead too. Not to mention her mom posted about her memorial. It was just a huge faked thing, and you can tell by her video comments people are disappointed, but not surprised. She likes attention. I did when I was 15 as well, but I never made anything up around dying. She also was able to put me in contact with the girl. I got in contact with her through her friend, but was very cautious as I didn't know anything about Asperger's and what it makes you do. Also, if she was suicidal and fragile, I wanted to be careful. I sent her all the posts and examples about her passing, the people hurt by it, to show this was out long before I covered it. She says she understands that I didn't mean anything bad. I was asked to remove everything about her, and out of fear that she could possibly be in a fragile state, I did everything that she asked me to do. Keep in mind, I attempted to let Primink know why I couldn't share this information. February 21, 2019, a YouTube account with 2 subscribers posted a 2-minute video. They said I was lying about alleged friends and family reaching out to me. As previously seen, this is not true. They say I deleted a comment that was allegedly from the family. I never deleted any comment, and the comment that they say I deleted is again someone lying about her being dead. The description of said video says that I doxed the girl's personal information, but as previously seen, the information was already very publicly available online and sent to me. It says that I made money off said video, but as previously seen, the video was not monetized. The video also insinuates that this comment was shaming me for not taking things down, when actually it was a viewer suggesting me a topic to cover. The topic having to do with an influencer named Asland, and something that they had allegedly done. Again, all the receipts will be in the description of the video. There were some racist and homophobic tweets that came from my Twitter account. These were not posted by me. On June 12th of 2012, me and my friend founded a Facebook page called Hello Today. I added several people I worked with at the time to be admins and to post motivational things. One of the admins, who went by the name Mexecutioner, posted homophobic and racist things. The Facebook was set to auto-post to the Twitter that I would later use for my YouTube channel. In 2019, the person who was responsible for said tweets apologized. There were multiple admins who posted things purposely to troll the account. The Executioner in specific would not follow rules, sometimes posting without using his admin tag. When people first brought these tweets to my attention, I was under the impression that they were fake. Around that time, people had been using a fake tweet generator to send me false receipts in the hopes that I would cover it in a video. After I realized that they were fake, I tried to explain. I made a video August 24th of 2018 explaining this, and the former admin Executioner made a video he wanted me to share.
Hey, what's up everybody? So there's a couple things that I want to get off my mind in regards to my friend Shane, also known as Repzilla on YouTube. Well, anywho, long story short, me and Shane were co-workers nearly a decade ago, and he had added me and a couple of my troll buddies to this group. He promoted spirituality and positivity, and we thought it'd be funny to just go and talk shit, post a bunch of distasteful things, yada yada yada. Well, fast forward about 2 years ago, somebody has dug really deep on Twitter and found these comments that me and my buddies have made and are blaming Shane for it. I'm Executioner. That has been my gamer tag since 15 years ago or so. I'm the one who made all those comments. They have made a couple of videos just talking shit, slandering Shane, just trying to pick him apart. Just stop. Honestly, just stop. Shane's not like that, first off. He's a very nice guy if you do know him in person. Number two, that was definitely me. I'll take responsibility, and I do apologize for it. Granted, that was 10 years ago. I've evolved since then. I've grown up a lot. I don't expect any forgiveness. I understand I'm just a random guy on the internet at the end of the day who gives a fuck what I think. I understand. Shane, I'm really sorry about everything. I'm sorry. I take responsibility, man.
Again, all of this will be attached in the Google Drive in the description of the video. Since I was already making this video, I wanted to add a couple other things where the narratives have been misrepresented. I don't feel these to be as important as everything else in this video, but I thought you'd be interested in knowing just the same. On August 4th, 2021, Keemstar announced on his podcast Mom's Basement that he had gotten in a relationship with a 20-year-old adult woman. And people took issue with this because he was 40 years old.
Keemstar's a 39-year-old YouTuber who recently got into a relationship with a 20-year-old. And some people are very upset about this. Most notably, two of Keemstar's biggest detractors, Ethan Klein and Trisha Paytas.
August 9, 2021, I made a video titled Keemstar is dating a 20-year-old child, talking about how I did not agree with people saying this.
Keemstar is 39, he'll be 40 next year, dating a 20-year-old. It has been scientifically proven, I have been told this time and time again, that the female mind, because he's with a female, the female mind, natural-born female mind, does not fully develop until the age of 25. With males, sometimes it's up to age 30. You're an almost 40-year-old man with a child, just got out of a 13-year relationship, and now you're, like, within weeks just blasting that you're sliding into new cheeks as a 20-year-old.
Now, like I said, having covered a lot of situations where people have used their platforms to take advantage of people online, there's a couple things I don't agree with in this situation. Here, she said that this 20-year-old, she referred to them as a child. This is not a child. They work, they're a waitress, as it was stated. Our focus should be on the overall, a bigger picture of, like, we got to protect the children. Not calling 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, and 30-year-olds children and childs, but we got to protect the literal kids, like the 10, 11, 12, 13 children from people that would take advantage of them online and really leverage their platform. Like, there were other creators that called people out for saying that a 20-year-old is a child. August 10, 2021, Keemstar tweeted about my video, specifically my title. Keep in mind, the description of my tweet shows the context. The description of my video shows the context of what the video was about. People in the comments section of my tweets and video understood what the context of said video was. Again, August 10, 2021, I tweet under Keemstar's tweet, making clear my context to him. Even people under Keem's tweet were calling him out about not watching my video. Hundreds of people under his tweet were commenting about how I was wrong for saying that a 20-year-old is a child. They even made videos about it. I felt misrepresented, and I do have a right to respond to misinformation. August 11, 2021, I made a video clarifying the situation. The description reads, Keemstar tweeted about me yesterday, and the result was a lot of people sending me hate for something that they thought I said, which wasn't the case. I'm here to set the record straight. This is why you should read descriptions and watch videos before reacting. That same day, I tweeted my video out, clarifying the situation further. It was not about the hate. It was about being misrepresented. Around July 16, 2019, there was a tragedy that took place where a young girl named Bianca Devins lost her life.
This is just a horrible story coming out of Utica, New York, about the murder of a girl named Bianca. Bianca Devins was a 17-year-old micro-influencer who, according to reports, had around 6,000 followers at the time of her death. Reports say that she was known as an e-girl who posted about video games and other online content. And yesterday, Utica police confirmed she had been killed and that photos taken of her after she was murdered were posted online.
I was unfortunately one of the people that came across these graphic photos on Twitter. July 21st, 2019, I decided to use my platform to raise awareness, linking the scholarship fund and resources about domestic violence. January 2020, Gabby Hanna uploaded a video titled Transforming into a TikTok e-girl.
So you guys have probably already watched the first video I did on her and how she disrespected a TikTok girl in one of her videos recently. For those who didn't already know, she basically uploaded a video where she was transforming herself into a TikTok e-girl and was looking for outfit inspo. In the video, she comes across a photo of a girl called Bianca Devins and was talking about her t-shirt. In the video, many noticed that Gabby wasn't seeing that the article surrounding Bianca's photo was about her tragic death. Of course, people were sending her hate after this, which made Gabby blur out the article to avoid any trouble.
This was a situation that made a lot of people angry, so a lot of people were talking about it. January 31st, 2020, I decided to make my own video giving my opinion. Again, linking the scholarship fund as well as the article Gabby used in her video about TikTok e-girls. At 1:19 in said video, I again specified Gabby was making a video about how to turn into a TikTok e-girl. Gabby Hanna did a video probably about 3 or 4 days ago, and it was how to be a TikTok e-girl, and everybody knows that Bianca Devins was, I don't want to say e-girl, but in the subculture of just the aesthetic of that and expression. So Gabby Hanna is making this video and pulls up an article, a full-on article that shows Bianca Devins, and the disrespect was on another level. And as she's talking all in this upbeat voice, and she's showing this recently deceased young girl. And in the article, it talks about the horrendous murder. And I don't understand how, one, this could get by an editor. Two, she does not see this. I mean, she's looking at the article. She's commenting on what Bianca's wearing. Her clothing, the shirt, hair. But how does she not see that she's reading an article from a tragedy? February 13, 2020, Gabby Hanna apologized for said video and went on to explain what happened.
Just recently, Gabby finally uploaded a video to explain what actually happened from her point of view, saying that it was a genuine mistake.
When you're on Google, I believe we searched what is an e-girl, and the first article is e-girl definition, what is an e-girl fox? And then I stop at this picture. And I'm not reading the article because all it looks like to me is like the E stands for electronic. Would have never imagined in a million years as I'm reading this article that there would be this type of sensitive content in it, so I wasn't paying attention to it at all. I just looked at the photo. I mentioned that I have her shirt and that I dressed like her my entire life.
She mentioned that the reason it took her so long to finally address the whole situation was because she wanted to apologize privately to Bianca's family first. She then proved the conversation with screenshots between her and Bianca's mom in the video. From the video she posted, it seems like Gabby was genuinely really sorry for her mistake.
February 17, 2020, I also made an update covering Gabby's apology where I state that people making videos just to hate on Gabby should stop, as she did the right thing. Many people pointed out that this was just her playing the victim and that they didn't believe that this was a sincere apology at all. And to that, I have one thing to say. Barring the fact that people think that she's manipulative and that she's done so much wrong and all these other things, maybe she's not sincere. But the point that I see is that she did apologize. She reached out to the mother and she apologized. Whether it's an authentic apology The video that offended so many people was taken down. Not only did she apologize to the community, but she reached out to Bianca Devin's mother, which a lot of people said that was manipulative. Bianca Devin's mother did forgive her. She said, it's okay, it's fine. The whole point is that whether she isn't authentic or not, the apology is good enough for me. Now, we can sit there and we can slam her character all day long and say that she did this, she did that. That's wrong. I mean, that's an easy thing to do with a public figure like Gabby Hanna alone. These channels, these commentary channels, these drama channels, they highlight what people do bad in hopes that things will get better. Well, some do. Most do. I want to believe most do. There are some channels out there that just perpetuate drama because it's good views, and if that's what you're doing with the Gabby Hanna issue, don't do that. Quit doing that. After my video on the same day, Bianca's mother posted a video saying that she didn't find anything wrong with what Gabby did. I updated in the description of my video. Keep in mind I made my video the day before and did not know of Bianca's mother's video as it was posted after mine. Around July 2021, I received criticism that my coverage of Gabby Hanna reading the Vox article contributed to the family receiving more harm.
I'd argue the T channels didn't read the article either. None of these channels even show the article once for context, but they'll tell you all about it.
The whole article next to it was about that girl and how she was by someone that she met on Discord.
It's by Vox, it's titled E-Girls and E-Boys Explained, talks about what they are, shows some pictures, and then shows Bianca Devins with a short paragraph talking about her death. It genuinely makes sense how Gabby could miss this one paragraph. It's not the murder article that the T channels are claiming it is.
This was a lack of research on my part. I got caught up in the narratives of other videos, then perpetuated how those videos influenced me. Here's an example of how I should have explained the content.
So the article is titled E-Girls and E-Boys Explained. So natural article to click on if you're trying to figure out what an E-Girl or an E-Boy is. And just for context, we'll go through this article just a little bit. So the article starts off with fashion in London during the 60s and 70s. Then it goes on to have an undertitle saying E-Boys are now the new teen heartthrobs and they're poised to make serious money. Then they describe E-Girls and E-Boys as hip young people whose defining qualities are that they are hot and online. Okay then, so if we scroll down a little bit, we see a TikTok e-girl compilation. Then they talk about how winged eyeliner is the part of the e-girl aesthetic here. And then boom, at the end they talk about an online presence of a girl named Bianca Devins, who was tragically taken away from us. So from my understanding of what happened, Gabby included this portion of the Vox article, and her and her friend were talking about the picture of Bianca here and how she was dressed, I'm assuming. And they didn't see the text that was beside saying basically what happened to her, which I would say is an honest mistake.
My intentions were good and my anger towards Gabby was real, but my understanding of the situations was incorrect, and my own fault for not looking at both sides when it comes to Gabby based on my own lack of trust in her. As a result, I caused harm. July 5th, 2021, I made a community post. I apologize for any pain that I caused with my mistake, and I unlisted both my videos to do with the situation, as well as donated all the ad revenue from said videos to the Bianca Devins Fund. Here's an attached receipt. Around July 2021, there was a very public situation where James Charles drew criticism and was trending on Twitter. I had been covering situations with James Charles where he admitted to having inappropriate conversations with underage boys. He said he did not know their age. The criticism was about him promoting an underage creator named Purpled. As you can see, this is what prompted me to make today's video. It says YouTuber James Charles attracts criticism after tagging a 17-year-old Minecraft streamer named Purpled in an Instagram story. In July, the beauty influencer posted a video discussing some alleged things, specifically that he had been grooming underage fans online, saying, at the end of the day, as an adult with the person with the platform, it was 1000% my responsibility to be doing my due diligence and checking into people that I was speaking to, and I failed to do this, which I do agree with. This is what sparked all the Twitter trending stuff. He's posted on his Instagram story that he was watching the young creator with the caption, about to get glam featuring Real Purpled playing Bed Wars to keep me entertained. Bed Wars, which, obviously this was not his intention to feed into these type of alleged things, But given the context, that's exactly what it did. And you would think that somebody who thinks things through would have noticed this, but that's not what happened in this situation. My intention was to show that although James was deserving of criticism of many things, in this situation, his promotion was not what I believe to be malicious. I think that he's getting in these controversies of his own volition. These are things that he's choosing to do himself, terrible decisions, and it demonstrates that he's not really learnt very much. But at the same time, he may have just been watching this YouTuber and mindlessly just posted it, just living his life. I don't know. I still think he should have caught that one. Like, he should have thought better. He should have given it more time. I mean, he's in hot water right now. So just for context purposes, did James Charles actually do anything wrong in this situation? The answer is no. There's nothing wrong with being a fan of creators on the internet at all. And Purple probably doesn't really care that James Charles is one of his fans. I wanted to show this for context purposes. As I've seen it implied, I was using this as evidence that James was a predator, when I was explaining how James was not doing that in this situation. Viewers in the comments of my video understood this context. Those that did not understand this context perpetuated the opposite of my intention on Twitter. November 11th, 2020. Eugenia had been receiving criticism for talking about butterflies and using a blue butterfly emoji in her tweets. Around August 2021, it began to circulate again and people were asking me to look into it. August 3rd, 2021, I made a video looking into the situations involving Eugenia and the origins of the accusations around her being pro-Anna. I explained why people were accusing Eugenia of using a blue butterfly in relation to pro-Anna and the origin of said butterfly. I made sure to say multiple times there is no evidence that Eugenia is using the blue butterfly in correlation to pro-Anna. The intention of my video was to look into and clarify said situation. We're going to be talking about a blue butterfly and what it means in relation to Eugenia. So here's the tweet in question. It says, being different isn't a bad thing. It means you're brave enough to be yourself with a blue heart and a blue butterfly. And there's one comment here. It says, these are quotes found on pro-Anna pages that exist. I've seen it myself. The blue butterfly is clear pro-Anna symbol. I don't know how people don't see this. So I'd actually never heard of this before and I wanted to go look and verify myself. And I come up on a website called Cerulean Butterfly. And again, I'm not linking Eugenia to this community. And although I can't connect Eugenia directly to this movement, I do feel like it's important to talk about. There's been some things that's been said that have yet to be verified. Just because someone uses a blue butterfly emoji does not mean that they are pro-Anna. The origin is in relation and context of the pro-Anna community, Cerulean Butterfly. Again, the context was in my video, my description, and my pinned comment. Viewers understood this context on Twitter and in my video comments. I had even corrected a few people publicly about this in case the context was not clear. Regardless, there was still a couple creators who made tweets and videos claiming my narrative was anyone who used a butterfly emoji was supporting pro-Anna. This caused several other people to believe those claims and tweet at me and make other videos. Keep in mind the context and narrative I intended was to show people that Eugenia, although some of the things were ironic, it was not direct evidence of her doing wrong. This video was not monetized. I didn't want to censor anything that I had to say. Now, if you guys have made it to the end of this video, I want to say I really appreciate it, firstly. And I've written something here to conclude things, so I'm going to read that for you. The reason I wanted to make this video is because these things still get brought up, but with incorrect narratives. I've attempted to talk about these things several times, but never with full honesty and clarity. I'm no longer afraid to be doxxed, as I was in previous years, mostly because I've moved from that address that I lived at during all this stuff when it happened. And I'm never going to let people attempt to silence me again. I'm not going to let things build up like this to where I have to make a video like this. It's just these things that I've talked about in this video are from the start of my career. Like, this is my experience as a YouTuber 100%. And I handled things the best way I could at the time. But I've learned a lot, and when people do me wrong or come out with serious accusations, I will be there with the receipts. I will never let things build like this again out of fear of what people think. And if you've watched this entire video, I really appreciate it. I'm going to get back to making normal videos and using my platform for good things. And hopefully I've take with me everything that I've learned into the future. And thank you. Happy holidays.